It is going to be a bumper season, and we are already now into our 6th event of the year, and already we see so many storylines developing, so many attempted takeovers from various teams. Is this now Valkenswaard United's chance to once again take all of the headlines? Well, what a performance it was from the two veterans, from the two incredibly talented, experienced riders that are John Whittaker and, of course, Marcus Eining. Let's show you what took place today for Valkenswaard United. Is this as good as Star Gold has looked for a very, very long time? Marcus Eining delivering a lightning quick round at 69.27. What a sign of things to come throughout the rest of the weekend. And despite a potential wobble for John Whittaker and Unique de Franck, going on to make sure that he still holds it clear using all of that experience and does not take a single rail down, delivering the fastest clear, the fastest double clear of the afternoon as Valkenswaard United, who now find themselves in pole position. GCTV caught up with John Whittaker to get some reaction to these sensational performances.
My horse was actually jumping really good. Marcus gave me some inspiration actually because he had a super round, and I was a bit scary to the last fence. I lost one rein, but luckily I jumped it. But no, I had a good feeling. My horse felt really good. Actually, it's the first time this year he jumped on the grass, so it's like a little bit different, you know, so yeah, very pleased.
You both were extremely fast. It's quite a time. We
kind of thought in the first, before we started, that the time was a little bit tight anyway, so you have to go a little bit, so we may as well go a little bit quicker. So yeah, that was a plan a little bit to, you know, try and be clear, but try and be quick also.
What a sensational performance. John Whittaker speaking to GCTV, suggesting that the time indeed was perhaps something that is still only second in mind. You want to go double cleared, and the fact that you can do so in a fast time is incredibly important to get into a strong starting position for the second day of GCL action that will be on Saturday for Super Saturday. Right, they were one of 4 teams, though, on double clear. Many teams, in fact, being able to conquer this Frank Rothenberger course seemingly with some ease. Overall clear rate, by the way, 14 out of 32 riders going clear today. The next 2 sets of those clears belong to New York Empire. Let's show you what took place with New York Empire today, because they too, as we said, were able to jump double clear. Firstly, starting with Jody Hall McAteer and Kimosa. Very strong for the young, talented rider that certainly seems to be growing from strength to strength. Jody Hall McAteer setting the pace. And then a man who we spoke to, if you recall, in the post studio at the end of the Saint-Tropez event, how good to have Harry Charles back on the GCL stage, because much like Jody Hall McAteer, well, it then became an even better performance for New York Empire, who was able to deliver a very, very important round. New York Empire now double clear, 2 of the 4 double clears down. We find out from Harry Charles how he feels about that performance and where it leaves the team going into round 2.
Very happy, you know. Jody was clear, and I knew I also had to do a job, and yeah, happy to do it. And I don't know how many double clears there are, but I think not so many, so in good shape for Saturday.
So regarding the time, what did you spoke beforehand with Jody about the time?
Yeah, we had a little talk. We didn't really consider the time too much of a course, but we found a couple of bits quite tricky. We both found, we said, when you went on the bank, you couldn't really see the next fence, so we were kind of riding blind. I didn't actually know where to turn, and when I turned, the fence is there already, so that was a bit tricky. And then after the double was already very short, and you had to do a really tight turn back to the brown oxer, which both of us found a bit hard, and we both said that walking the course. So it rode all right, actually. It rode all right.
Did you already notice that you both had the same time?
We did? Oh, I didn't know that until now. Ah, that was good team planning then. We didn't walk the course exactly together, but maybe we should. Oh, I didn't know that. It's quite cool. So we're both in equal 4th individually. Oh, not bad.
So the youngsters did a pretty good job for New York Empire.
Yeah, only 2 of us here, 2 under 25. So I hope the bosses and Georgino will be happy back home. So yeah, hopefully we can continue again on Saturday. Job's only half done.
The job is only half done, but two under-25 riders coming out for New York Empire, both delivering crucial and very good double clears, puts them in a really strong position going into Saturday. But from an overall championship story, the double clear of the Berlin Eagles perhaps might well be the most important storyline to take out if you are looking at the end goal of the championship. Because before we go to Berlin Eagles, let's just remind you that they are double clear going into Saturday. Who are their closest rivals? The Hamburg Giants and Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M. Hamburg Giants closed today on a score of 7. Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, on a score of 9. So that double clear of the Berlin Eagles gives them 7 points in hand and 9 points in hand over their two closest rivals. So what happens when Ludger Bierbam and Miller come back to the Global Champions League? Holding on to that red armband on his left arm, Ludger Bierbam and Miller showing absolutely no signs of missing out in the action in Saint-Tropez. They return and deliver a clear. Much the same from Philip Wieshout, who again on Kobe is just so sensational, delivering a clear that makes it a double clear for the Berlin Eagles. And I remind you again what that means from a championship perspective. The Hamburg Giants finding themselves on a score of 7. Suze Curtin with a jumping fault and a few time faults as well, coming home in 7 clear from Linda Heed. And as far as Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, Lily Atwood with a score of 4, and Olivia Philippa's time faults again with a score of 5 that takes them to 9. So Berlin Eagles will be keeping a very close eye on that, knowing that perhaps even if they don't go on to win in Hamburg, which of course they will want to do, they'll be trying to see as many faults fall for Stockholm Hearts and for Hamburg Giants as possible to give them even more breathing space at the top of the table. As it stands, that gap is already up to 13 points. Now, Rome Gladiators, who were in fact the first of the teams to deliver those double clears, eventually landed up remaining as one of the 4 leading teams. They held on to the provisional lead for quite some time. Shane Breen, first man out for the team, delivering that clear. And then Fernando Martinez Soma, FMS on Korbacher, making sure that he follows suit, delivers a clear as well. And all of a sudden, the Rome Gladiators find themselves in a very, very strong position and have been moving up the championship table for quite some time. In fact, they find themselves in 7th place on the overall championship. And for a newly composed team to be inside the top 8 of the championship, it does show that there has been slow but steady progress for the team. And I wonder if they're able to close out on Saturday with a really, really strong score, how high they will go and how many championship points there will be for them to cash in on. Now, we mentioned the Hamburg Giants, and of course it has not been a very, very fruitful afternoon for them, I'm afraid, because as we mentioned, well, Suze Curtin, the first rider out for the team, had a fault down and then really struggled with the time. And as we know now, the new rules for 2022 means that for every single second that you are over, those time faults continue to tick in. She eventually finished on a score of 7 and can thank her teammate Linda Heed, who then made sure that she came home in clear. That keeps the team on 7 and maybe by the slightest of stretches, keeps the team somewhat within touching distance of perhaps those mid-table teams that will be around them come the end of the weekend, but not a strong position. We spoke about their lineup. We spoke about whether or not it was going to be a gamble for Hamburg Giants, and they face now an uphill climb on Saturday. Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, they too are looking to try and make up championship points. They too are looking to try and catch Hamburg Giants and catch the Berlin Eagles. And Lily Atwood, first rider out of the gate, coming home in a score of 4. She was then followed by Olivia Philippa, who had a jumping fault and picked up a single time fault as well that saw him come home on a score of 5. Overall, as a team, on a score of 9, not the score or the position that the Stockholm Hearts would have wanted to find themselves in. They now will look to try and be as clean as possible on Saturday to try and stay in touching ground. Now, I believe Olivia Philippa is standing by for us. Olivia, thank you very much for your time today. Take us through what happened today, not perhaps the position that Stockholm Hearts would have wanted to find themselves.
Well, obviously, I mean, today was good, not good enough. Lily had a good round, but then I had 4 faults, so it's okay, it can happen. The horse is getting back in shape, but the time fault was actually cost us a lot of spots, so that was bad for us.
Talk to me about that time fault, Olivia. We saw 4 time faults across the board today. Did you find it very difficult to reach, or was it maybe just perhaps you were, missing a step or two? What brought about the time fault?
No, I was actually much slower than I thought. I thought actually my pace was pretty good, but after I crossed the finish line, I saw that I was really way too slow. So actually, it's a blame to put on myself.
Olivia, you guys are chasing the Hamburg Giants in second place on the overall championship standings. The Berlin Eagles are on double clear. But are you still targeting Hamburg? They finished on a score of 7, so they are still very much in reach. Can Stockholm jump up to second at the end of the weekend?
Well, we're gonna jump double clear on Saturday, and then we'll see where we end up. I think the horse jumped well. We've had actually 2 good rounds, but we just gotta pull it off on Saturday.
Any possible changes that you guys have been discussing for Saturday?
I haven't spoken to Lily yet, but I'd say we'll go with the same pair of horses and Lily and myself. So I think the horse jumped well, so I don't think we should change anything for Saturday.
All right, well, best of luck for Saturday. We hope that for you and your fans we'll see a double clear and bring the Stockholm Hearts back into contention ahead of the second round of Global Champions League action live from Hamburg. As we said, finding themselves in a score of 9, 4 from Lily Atwood, 5 from Olivia Philippa. It's a jumping fault and a single time fault. He says he was far slower than he would have expected, and now they have to press for a double clear on Saturday. Now, Prague Lions were the other big talking point of the weekend, because we know as the champions of Saint-Tropez just a week ago, they wanted to come in and continue with that momentum, come in with that impressive form. Peter de Vos continuing where he left off in Saint-Tropez, delivering a very strong clear. Anna Kelnerova coming into the team for Niels Bruynseels off the back of Saint-Tropez's success. And for Anna Kelnerova, a score of 4 puts Prague Lions on an overall score of 4, and they are a handful of teams that find themselves on a score of 4. In fact, London Knights, Madrid Emotion, Prague Lions, Cannes Stars and Miami Celtics all on a score of 4. And with 4 teams on double clear, they'll be thinking maybe if things are quite difficult on Saturday, if Frank Rothenberger really dials it up on Saturday, there might be some faults for those top 4 teams. So maybe a score of 4 is still very much in the mix. We'll find that out from Frederick de Backer as the rest of the weekend unfolds. For now, the Paris Panthers, again, such an interesting talking point, not just today, but throughout the entire season. Many thinking maybe that this was the weekend for the Paris Panthers to shine and go on and dominate in Hamburg. Yoli Mitilineo, first rider out, getting her GCL debut. We spoke to her on Team Talk this week already, and she spoke about learning, spending time with the team, and now been given the opportunity from Rob Hoekstra to go on and jump for GCL. She came home in a score of 4, and in a real surprise, Harry Smolders coming home in a score of 8. It takes the team to 12 overall, and all of a sudden now on a position for Paris Panthers down in 12th, only in front of the Shanghai Swans on 14. This would not have been where they would have expected themselves to be at the end of GCL round 1. Loli Mtilineo is standing by to have a conversation and chat and find out exactly how things went. Let's hear from her.
I also would have loved a clear round. I had the second fence down, which, as soon as you have that, you think, oh gosh, it's a long way around now. But it was a bit of a silly fault. It was my fault a little bit. I just jumped 1 and it was a 9 strides to 2, and I was a little bit too nice. It came a bit too nice. I probably should have kept him a bit interested. But I'm glad, after I did that, I thought, don't rush, because if you rush, you're going to have another one. So I'm happy that I managed to keep my cool and finish the course. And I'm really happy with him. He went in there. Normally, I'd like to take him in yesterday to have a nice look around, but I jumped my other mare. So I'm proud of him, how he coped with the arena in there. It's a spooky ring, and it's a new place, so yeah.
Did you have the opportunity to watch also the round of Harry?
I did, yeah. I'd say his horse actually, it jumped very well, and then it just came to the red birds, and I think it just looked through that a bit and had that down, and then he had one more towards the end. But it's it's tough for Harry also. He wasn't meant to come here, so it was a last minute change of plans, and he's just here for yesterday and today, and then he's away to America for a wedding to go to. So yeah, I'm sure he's pleased with his horse, and it's how it is, isn't it? So we'll try again on Saturday. Dara's coming, so hopefully we can do two clears, and yeah.
So potential that Derek Kenny might come out for the Paris Panthers in round 2. As it stands now, scores of 4 and 8 for the two riders today takes them to 12. And it has been a tough weekend. In fact, it's been a tough season thus far for the Paris Panthers. A day that has not been tough is that for Valkenswaard United. And Marcus Eining is standing by for us. How lovely to chat to him again. Marcus Eining, welcome to GCTV. Have you tried to calculate the years combined between you and John Whittaker? How many years experience would that be?
Sometimes it's too much and sometimes too less, but I think today it helps.
No, it certainly does help. You were great today. Is this as strong as Stargold has felt for quite some time? The combination of you two looked sensational.
Yeah, I was very happy with my round today. He felt amazing. He jumped already in Madrid very good in the second team qualifier, and we could keep it here. So I'm very hopeful for Saturday.
Marcus, we saw a lot of the teams struggle with the time. We saw 4 time faults today, yet you and John found the course very easy to finish in a very fast time. Why do you think that is?
Experience. No, I have actually a very natural fast horse, and he likes the speed a bit. And John had a very good run, so I think the time is actually okay. But at the end, we have a few clears, and so that means on Saturday, I think we have to go fast and double clear again.
Now, Marcus, you guys are in the middle of your title defense as the defending champions from 2021. You find yourselves in 10th position now. Is this the weekend in Hamburg that maybe reignites the title defense for Valkenswaard United?
I hope so.
Right. Marcus Eining, thank you for your time. Great to see you again. Missed that smile, and what a performance from him and Stargold, and of course John Whittaker as well. The fastest double clear of the weekend, putting Valkenswaard United in top place, in pole position. That will see them the very last team out the gate on Saturday as we welcome back the second round of Global Champions League action. Let's bring up the tables and remind you as to how things stand at the moment. Those 4 double clears, Valkenswaard, New York, Berlin and Rome Gladiators. Then 5 teams on a score of 4. London Knights, Madrid Emotion, Prague Lions, Miami Celtics and the Cannes Stars as well on the second page of the standings. All of those 5 teams just 1 rail away. Then Scandinavian Vikings, the last team on the overall championship, find themselves in 10th. Hamburg Giants looking to maybe lose some ground at the end of the weekend. Time faults for them takes them to 7. Istanbul Sultans and Saint-Tropez Pirates on 8. Time faults coming into play again. Stockholm Hearts, Paris Panthers and Shanghai Swans. 14, 15 and 16. You would not have bet money on 14, 15 and 16 belonging to those 3 powerhouse teams. How will they be able to turn things around on Saturday? How will those mid-team tables be able to put pressure on those that clear? And how will the handful of teams that find themselves on 4 and double clear press for the title, press for victory in Hamburg this weekend? Stay with us here on GCTV. We will bring you all of the action on Saturday, and don't forget there will be a new episode of Team Talk available as well on GCTV, so stay with us and we'll see you on Super Saturday. Bye-bye.